Hi there, Massy here, coach, strategist, and author of a few books. The most recent one being The Successful Mind, and I'm about 90% through the fifth book of mine, which is Decision Making Mastery. I figure that our destiny is shaped by the quality of the choices we make. So if we're getting better at this decision-making thing, we influence and co-create the destiny of our choice. So that's where I'm taking that book. So welcome to the Life Masterclass podcast, and coming to you all the way from beautiful Bali. I'm looking outside, a bit cloudy, and I was a bit concerned. There's a rice farmer now into more technology with his whippersnipper trimming things back, but you can't hear that, so all good. So thank you for joining me, where we look at how to raise your level of vibration, your level of success, your level of vitality, your level of health, your level of well-being, your level of happiness, joy, and whatever else you want to put into that mix, because a lot of them are intertwined with each other. And I also want to be as practical as I can in this Life Masterclass podcast series, so that you can actually walk away at the end of this, mini conversation, myself to you, and actually put something into play. So I'm always looking at how I can make this practical. And at the end, I want to share something pretty exciting with you that's coming up in the very near future that I think you might be really interested in. Okay, so today's conversation is about our interaction with the world and how we manage our energy. And the example I would like to use is weekend just gone, out and about. I'm in Bali. In Indonesia, they've got the rule, people wear the mask. If you've heard me talk before, I'm not a big fan of masking up. Comes from my time in the military, where I actually studied, and one of my specialty courses that I did was in defense against biological weapons. I've been in a gas chamber with full, proper military standard kit. And if you had your face mask on and there wasn't a good tight seal between the rubber in your face, you would suck in the CS gas that they were using in this gas chamber for training purposes. So I realized that these cloth masks do absolutely nothing. So for me, I think they do absolutely nothing. So I'm sitting there the other day, and I'm in this very, 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 very open air cafe restaurant in Bali. And if you've ever been to Bali, there's lots of those about. So I see someone coming, and for starters, they're wearing their mask in their car, which I just don't get. But then they, mask up until they get into the restaurant, and then once they get in the restaurant to sit down to eat their food, their mask will come off. And I'm just like, there is really no difference from outside to inside, like really no difference. If you're buying into this idea of this really bad virus going around, like the idea that it doesn't affect you when you're eating is bizarre. And then someone needed to go back to the car, so they put their mask back on, as if it was a gas mask. It is not a gas mask. It is not a gas mask. So anyway, I was getting triggered by this thing. So, I do my work, I do my meditation, I do all of this stuff, so I sort of can maintain my level of equanimity as much as possible. But I realized I was like a little bit edgy. For whatever reason, on that day, on that particular day of the weekend, my vibe was a little bit lower, which means if my vibe's a little bit lower, if my vibrational frequency is a little bit lower, if I'm not in an elevated emotional state, and I'm getting closer to those fear states of being, it's much easier for me to get triggered. So the point I want to make is the importance of being really clear about where we are at, and being okay with the idea of stepping back. So for me, and I've got this amazing, incredible partner in my life, Ferry, and I just said to her, look, I'm timing out. I got to get the hell out of this restaurant because I'm getting too triggered. And I'm just going to go back home. So I acknowledge I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I don't try and suppress it. There might be times where I just decide I need to change my environment, because that is one of the tools for me to actually change what's happening internally, because my environment affects me, my external environment, my internal environment. At a cellular level, the environment of the blood around that cell influences what's happening at a cellular level. So I realize and I know the importance of my environment. So I'm like, okay, I need to switch this environment. And that may be that I go back home and I sort of retreat a little bit more, and I like take a little bit more self-care to get myself out of this a little bit more reactive state, and that's a state more leaning towards the sympathetic nervous system. And I do whatever I need to do to start taking myself back to the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and relax and rejuvenation piece, as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system, which is related to the stress response. I want to take myself out of that stressy thing where I'm reactive. I'm working the lower brain, mid and lower brain, and I want to get up into that higher brain, those frontal lobes. So that requires me to remove myself from the environment, find my nice place of calm. And we've got a beautiful house here. It's like nice views and nicely relaxed. And as you can see, very simple layout. Like I'm in for simplicity because that brings a calming effect as well. So I retreat back to my calming space and I bring my energy back up again. And I don't berate myself for my inability to handle that situation there. Because most of the time I know I'm pretty good because I do the work. I do the work day in, day out so that I'm not reactive and I'm responsive to life. And I've got this gap between something happening and the choice I make as to how I respond to that. But sometimes that sort of gap is a little bit lower because of whatever reasons. So the point I want to make, and we're circling back to, is be okay with taking a little bit easier for yourself, taking that step back, changing your environment, dropping back in. Maybe you do a little bit more mindfulness or meditation, or you step out in nature and that sort of thing. And if that's for half a day or if that's for a week, that's what you need to do to rejuvenate and bring yourself back up into access to these elevated emotional states, access into the higher vibrational frequency. Then that's what you need to do. So be okay with yourself doing that. So be aware of it, step away from it, get yourself back into the right state of being, and then re-engage again. And don't see anything wrong with that process. So there you go. Now, if you've got any questions about that, any insights, anything you'd like to add to the conversation, don't hesitate to leave your comments or reach out to me personally to deepen the conversation. And if you'd like to go super, super deep on a conversation with me, just reach out to me, carmassy.com, website down below, to reach out and we can have a deeper coaching conversation. The thing I said I'm super, 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 super excited about is I've been doing life masterclasses for about 4 years now, live events, 2.5 to 3 day events. And I had a plan for 2020. I was excited for 2020. Let's do Life Masterclass, Australia, Asia, Europe, Mexico to work the Americas. And I was all set to go 2020. And then you know what happened with 2020. So I've had to repivot, and I thought, oh no, I'll make this an online event. And that's what I've been working on. And I've sort of, really enjoying getting the content together and making sure that it is as powerful as it possibly can be. So I'm going to do it over the weekend of 27 to 29 November. So check out the details. I'll have them in the show notes. They'll also go across the screen here for the video. Check out the Life Masterclass there, and it's going to be a powerful, powerful weekend. I've got 10 live Q&A sessions, 6 of them over the weekend, 2 of them a week after, another 2 a few weeks after that. So a lot of support there. As stuff comes up, questions, you can ask me directly as they specifically relate to you. So I'd love to see you there. That would be a fantastic opportunity to get to meet some people that have been on the other end of my conversations. I'd love to have this two-way conversation happen. So I'd love to see you there. That's it. Have a fantastic day wherever you are on this gorgeous, incredible, beautiful planet of ours. Have an absolutely fantastic day and take care.